Alright guys, this is a video going over the quizzes review that I did for our upcoming quiz tomorrow, quiz 7, okay? So I'm just going to go through the slides, so you are welcome to go and click on the link again and kind of work out those problems if you want to try quizzes again. So here it's a division, so what I need to do is, let me make it smaller, okay? Remember, we keep, change, flip, alright? Okay, keep, change, flip. Alright, so let's just make sure we're on the same page. Start it over. So, keep, change, flip. So we're keeping x squared plus 15x plus 54. Okay. We change the sign, alright, to multiplication, and then we flip this upside down. Okay, very important, otherwise it won't work. Alright, now we're going to find the a times c. So 2 factors and multiply to 54 and add to 15. It's 6 and a 9, and they're both going to be positive. Okay, so I'm going to have x plus 6 and x plus 9. And I can put it all together because I'm multiplying. Times x plus 8. Okay, now on the bottom, right here, I got 6x plus 54. So I can take a greater common factor out, because again, this is not a quadratic equation. So I can take 6 out. That's going to be x plus 9. And then times, and then here I'm going to do a times c again. So I got 42 has to equal to negative 1. So 6 and 7 has to be negative. So I have x plus 6 and x minus 7. Okay? And now, of course, we're going to cancel things that are alike. So 1 on top, 1 on the bottom if we have 1. X plus 6, x plus 6, x plus 9, x plus 9. Okay, so what do we have left at this point? Okay, on the top, I got x plus 8. And on the bottom, I got 6 times x minus 7. Okay? So, what answer is that? It is answer 3 for this one. Okay? X plus 8 and 6 times x minus 7. All right. Next question. Okay, we're adding, so that means we have to have the same denominator and the same bottom. So I'm going to do a times c here. So 2 factors and multiply to negative 22, but add to negative 9. It is 2 and 11. And the 11 has to be negative. So I'm going to rewrite that. I have a 6x over x minus 11 as a factor, plus here I have a x plus 2, and I got x minus 11 on the 13x. Now, I'm going to look at it and say, okay, I got 2 factors on the right side, x plus 2 and x minus 11. I only got 1 factor on the left side. So what is missing on the left side that I have on the right? That's x plus 2. Now remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I got to do to the top to multiply it, okay? So now we're going to write it all in one. And remember, when you're ready and you have both denominators that are the same, you only write the denominator one time. Okay? Now, on the top, you're going to put it under 1 into one fraction. You have x plus 2 times 6x plus 13x. You're simply going to distribute the 6x to both. So you are going to get 6x squared plus 6 times x times 2. It's 12x plus 13x. Okay, and the bottom stays the same. And now we're just going to combine like terms. So we got 6x squared, 12x and 13x, that's 25x, over x plus 2 and x minus 11. Okay? So our answer is this one right here. All right? All right, next question. Again, now you're subtracting, so you got to have the same denominator, but they already are. So I do not have to do anything other than put it under 1 and then put the things together. But because I got a negative, please remember that you kind of need to keep it in parentheses first, okay? Because you're subtracting a fraction, not just a 5x. You're subtracting the entire thing. So make sure that you write it in parentheses so you can distribute this negative. Now we're going to distribute this negative. So that would leave me with x squared plus 7x plus 12 minus now 5x minus 3, okay? So don't forget you distribute the negative to both over x plus 4. And of course, we only combining like terms. So x squared is the only one, 7x minus 5x, it's positive 2x, and 12 minus 3 is positive 9 over x plus 4. So this is going to be the answer right here. All right, next question. We are asked for horizontal and vertical asymptote. So just a reminder, vertical asymptote is what we calculate on the bottom. So I can just do a times c here, okay, and figure out my two factors. So negative 12 and 4, that's going to be 6 and 2, and 2 has to be negative. So I'm going to rewrite that as x plus 6 and x minus 2. On the top, I'm going to do a times c. And I am going to say that's 6 and negative 5. So that's going to have to be 2 and 3, and they both got to be negative. It cannot be 6 and 1 because this has to be positive, okay? So I got x plus 6 and x minus 2. All right, now remember that whole, which is the repeated factor, which is x minus 2 here, it's not a vertical asymptote. So we're going to cancel this out. So we got a simplified version. We got x plus 6 over x. No, we both have a... No, something went wrong. Hold on a second. Let me check. Oh, I wrote it wrong. I'm sorry. All right, sorry, I fixed it. So it should be x minus 3 and x minus 2 on the top. So now, when I canceled the repeated factor, the simplified version is x minus 3 over x plus 6, okay? So again, the repeated factor, the x minus 2, it's our whole. We do not use that to figure it out our vertical asymptote. So our vertical asymptote will be right here. So the bottom of it, the top, just a reminder, it's your x-intercepts, okay? So I'm going to equal x plus 6 equal to 0. So my vertical asymptote is negative 6, okay? So that's my vertical asymptote, it's negative 6, okay? Oopsie. Let me write it. It's x cannot equal negative 6, okay? Now, how do I calculate a horizontal asymptote? Just a reminder, we're going to go back to the original equation. And remember, we're looking at the exponents. Okay, exponents of the leading x, all right? If the two exponents, the same amount of x's on the top as there is on the bottom, so 2 equals 2, we're going to look at the numbers in the front, which in this case is 1 over 1. Okay, so y equals 1 over 1, which is 1. So my horizontal asymptote would be 1, okay? So our answer is negative 6 and 1, which is this one, okay? And just a quick reminder, if the horizontal asymptote, if, let's just say, an x on the top plus 2x plus 1 over x plus 6, if the x on the top is greater, more x's on the top than on the bottom, so 2 is more than 1, there is no asymptote, okay? Now, if it's backwards, okay, if, let's just say, there's 1x on the top and there's 2 x's on the bottom, okay, which is backwards, then again, this is less than, there's less x's on the top than there is on the bottom, so 1 is less than 2, and my asymptote will always be 0, okay? But if they are equal to each other, like right here, okay, then we take the numbers in the front, we take the coefficients, all right? All right, next question, the same question. Asymptotes. Okay, so again, a times c. So I'm going to simplify that. Negative 12 has to equal to 4. So that's going to be 6 and 2. And 2 has to be negative, okay? So I got x plus 6 and x minus 2. And on the bottom, I got 10 has to equal to negative 7 because a times c. Again, so that's 5 and 2. And they both got to be negative to give me negative 7. So I got x minus 5 and x minus 2. And again, our whole, so repeated factor, it's x minus 2. So we're not going to use that factor to figure it out our asymptote, okay? That's our whole. So what we have left, we got x plus 6 here over x minus 5. So our asymptote is what's on the bottom, okay? And we're going to equal this vertical asymptote to 0, so x cannot equal 5, okay? Now again, this is our vertical asymptote. Now let's go to our horizontal asymptote. So we're going to go back to our original equation right here. And again, 2 is equal to 2, so we take the ones in the front. So y equals 1 over 1. which is 1. So our horizontal asymptote equals 1, and our vertical asymptote equals positive 5. So read this answer right here, okay? All right, next one, it's a division again. So again, keep, change, flip. So we are going to keep x squared minus 2x minus 15 over 9x squared minus 16 multiply. Now 6x minus 8 goes on the top, and x minus 5 goes on the bottom. We are going to do a times c here. So we're going to find two factors and multiply to negative 15 and add to negative 2. So negative 15 and add to negative 2. That's 3 and 5. Okay, so 3 and 5, and 5 has to be negative. So I'm going to rewrite that now. And on the top, I'm going to have x plus 3, x minus 5. Okay, here we're going to take 6 out. So multiply 6. Nope, sorry. We're going to take 2 out. I apologize. 6 does not go into 8, so 2 out, and we're going to have 3x minus 4 left. Okay. Now on the bottom, right here, 9x squared and negative 16. We are going square root both because, again, this is a quadratic equation that has a perfect square. So we're going to get 3x minus 4 and 3x plus 4, okay? And times x minus 5. And now we're going to cancel. Things are proportionally, top and bottom the same. X minus 5, 3x minus 4, 3x minus 4. So what is left on the top? Let's not forget about the 2. 2 is left on the top. And x plus 3. What's left on the bottom? It's 3x plus 4. Okay, so our answer is right here. All right, so this question right here, that's a linear question. We have to write constraints. After we write constraints, we're going to go to Desmos and graph it. We're going to pick up the points that are the vertices, so basically the edges of the most shaded area. And then we're going to plug it in to our profit equation. So this is what I showed my students today. Okay, so it says a batch of chocolate protein bars, and you have a peanut butter. So you got protein bars, chocolate, and peanut butter. So you got chocolate, and you got peanut butter. Okay. So I can say that, again, the chocolate is my x, and my peanut butter is my y bars, okay? So we got eggs, okay, 2. For the chocolate, we got sugar, 0.75, and we got flour, 2.5. Oh, let me write flour first. Okay. All right, now for peanut butter, I got eggs. How many eggs do I have for peanut butter? 2 eggs. I got 1.5 for sugar. Okay. And let me get that bigger. And then 2 cups of flour. Okay. Now, overall it says that a batch of chocolate protein bars made with 2 eggs, 0.7 cups of sugar, and 2 cups of flour yields 30 bars. So altogether I got 30 bars and of chocolate protein bars, so that's my x. And then a batch of peanut butter protein bars made with 2 eggs, 1.5 cups of sugar, and 2 cups of flour yields 24 bars. So that's 24 bars of peanut butter. That is my profit equation, okay? Now it also says that you have 24 eggs together, okay? You got 12 cups of sugar and you got 24 cups of flour. So overall, eggs, we got 24, sugar, we got 12, and flour, we got 24. as well. Okay, so how am I going to do this? You're going to do, let me change the color very quick. You're going to do eggs with eggs, sugar with sugar, flour with flour. So what do I have? This is my X. Okay, this is my Y. So eggs with eggs with eggs. Okay, so the same category. 2x plus 2y equals, nope, not equals, less than, okay, because again, we're creating inequality, less than or equal of 24x. Okay, now we're going to do sugar. Sugar, 0.75x of a chocolate. Sugar, 1.5y of a peanut butter bar. Less than or equal to sugar, 12 altogether. Okay, and then the last one, flour, 2.5x. Okay, plus 2y for peanut butter, less than 24, which is our flour. Okay, so these are your constraints. Okay, now we're going to graph that. So let me graph it. So again, I graphed it. These are your eggs, this is your sugar, and this is your flour, okay? I graphed it, and of course I did x is greater than 0 and y is greater than 0 only because I want them to be in a positive quadrant. But you're going to look at this graph and you're going to say, what is the area that is most shaded by all? It is this area right here. So I'm going to find my vertices, which are points on the edges of this area, okay? And these are my points, okay? Now, I'm going to use these points to plug this in to my profit equation. So let's get back here. Okay. So my profit equation was 30x plus 24y, which was right here. So the points that I had on the graph, okay, was 0. Let me look real quick. So my vertices were 0.8. 0, nope, it was 5.33. .333, comma 5.333, and then the last point was 9.6 and 0. Okay, so again, our profit equation was right here, 30x, which was 30 chocolate bars, protein bars, and 24 peanut butter bars. Okay, so 30x plus 24y. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in x and a y. So that's 30 times 0 plus 24 times 8. Okay. So we are going to get a profit of, let's calculate it very quick, of $192. $192. Okay. Now the next one was 30 times 5.333 plus 24 times 5.333. So we get a total of 280. It's not writing correctly for me. We get a profit of 280. 287.98. Okay. And then the last one, it was 30 times 9.6 plus 24 times 0, which is 0. Okay. So 30 times 9.6 is 288. So again, very close. Okay. I would say both of the answers are correct for this one, but I did pick as a correct answer 5.33. Okay, that's the answer I picked. But either 9.6 or and 0 and 5.33 are correct. That means 9.6 chocolate protein bars and 0 peanut butter, or another option is 5.3 of each. That will give them a maximum profit. Okay? All right, what is the whole point of this function? Again, what we're going to do here is we are going to do a times c to put them into a factor form. So negative 4 has to equal to middle number, which is negative 3. So it's 1 and 4, and 4 has to be negative. Now remember, there is a leading coefficient here too. That means that when you do your factors, you got to make sure that you're dividing it by that 2. Okay? By this leading coefficient. So if it's not divisible, it goes in the front. So here we're going to have 2x plus 1. And in the second parentheses, negative 4 divides by 2. That leaves us with x minus 2. Now on the bottom, we're going to do a times c again. So that's going to give us negative 6 and 1. And again, we can do 3 and 2. And 2 has to be negative to give me 1. So x plus 3 and x minus 2. Now remember, whole represents a repeated factor. So repeated factor, it's x minus 2. That's going to cancel out. So what's left? It's 2x plus 1 over x plus 3. Now we're going to use this whole, this repeated factor, x minus 2, and equal it to 0. That's going to give us x equals 2. Now that is my first point of a whole right here. Now I'm going to take this x plus equals 2, and I'm going to plug it into my simplified equation. So 2x plus 1 over x plus 3. I get 2 times 2 now, plus 1 over 2 plus 3. I get 5 over 5, which is 1. So my y value of my whole is going to be 1. So the correct answer is 2, 1. All right, so solve by factoring. This is a cube function, so we're going to do grouping, which means we're going to split this in half. Okay, we're going to take the first part, it's x cubed, minus 5x squared. And then the second part is 4x minus 20. All right, we're going to take a greater common factor out of each. So we have an x squared here that we can take out of x cubed and negative 5x squared. What's left is x minus 5. On the bottom, we can take a 4 out of both. So divide both of the terms by 4. So that leaves me with x minus 5. Now, you do want these two to be repeated. Okay, if they're not repeated, it means you're doing something wrong. Now, we're going to take these together. So this is going to be x plus 4 squared in one parentheses, and then repeated factor one time. Now, to solve, because this is what we're doing, you're going to equal each to 0. So x squared plus 4 equals 0. You write in a better color, not blue. So it reflects better. All right, so got x squared plus 4 equals 0. We're going to move the 4 to the other side by subtracting it. Okay, x squared equals negative 4. And then we're going to square root it. That's going to give us a negative underneath the radical. And remember, negative means I. So that's a plus or minus, okay, 2i. Because square root of 4 is 2, and I comes out, okay? Now, the second factor is x minus 5. We equal this to 0. X equals 5. Okay, so 5 is the second answer. So the correct answer is this one right here. So yes, it can be I underneath the radical. All right, another grouping. So again, we're going to solve it this way. We're going to take x cubed minus 8x squared, and then negative 4x plus 32. On the top, we're going to take x squared out. What's left is x minus 8. On the bottom, we're going to take negative 4 out. When you divide both by negative 4, remember the sign will change. So this is going to be x and this is going to be now -8. These are matching. So similar equation. We're going to combine like terms here, but now this one is x squared minus 4. And this is x minus 8. We're going to again equal them to 0. So x squared minus 4 equals 0. I'm going to add 4. X squared equals 4. Square root. I'm squaring a positive 4. So that's simply plus or minus 2. There is no I. Now x minus 8, simply it's x equals 8. Okay? So now the correct answer is this one. There is no I because I'm not square rooting a negative. All right? So these are all the answers, okay, to all the questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I might be missing one. Let me pause it and check. No, I got them all. All right.